He called me. I explained to him. I said, Mr. President, the job of a senator is not just to advance good ideas. The job of a senator is also to kill bad ideas.
And how did he take your response?
Well, like you would expect.
Not happy?
He didn't. He wasn't unhappy. I mean, the president didn't yell or anything. Of course, he's never yelled at me. There's always a first time, you know. but he doesn't agree with me, and sometimes reasonable people disagree. But my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. We're not going to change the filibuster or the blue slip while we're in charge during your or my natural lifetime.
So that is Republican Senator John Kennedy talking about a very uncomfortable phone call he made to Donald Trump, in which he told Trump no directly about a major request that Trump is making publicly of Republican lawmakers. And also reportedly, Trump's not going to give up. As a report broke and Mediaite described, Trump will reportedly make Republicans' lives a living hell over the filibuster. So if what Kennedy says is true, and what the report about Trump not letting this go and will only increase the pressure on, if that's all to be true, the stage is set for a major confrontation between what's left of the institutional Republicans or Republican institutionalists and Donald Trump, the leader of an overwhelming cult of personality. So this is fascinating, but Trump is pissed, as Kennedy admits and as the reporting indicates. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. So for context, CNN's early start on Tuesday aired Kennedy speaking to reporters, including Manu Raju, explaining that he told Trump his job as senator is to kill bad ideas, referring to the president's insistence that the Senate throw out its filibuster rule requiring 60 votes to pass legislation. Dumping the filibuster and requiring only a simple majority would allow Republicans to pass a continuing resolution to open up the federal government. But again, as you're about to read, Republicans are very nervous about the prospect because they expect it could backfire. Now, that gets us to the second part, which is this bombshell report that Trump is not going to let it go the way he did in his first term, and that he intends to make their lives a living hell over this. Let's take a look. Trump is reportedly planning on making Republican senators' lives a, quote, living hell as part of his push to get them to ditch the filibuster. And this comes from Axios. Scoop, Trump readying, quote, living hell for GOP senators over nuking the filibuster. And of course, it's locked out of Axios, so we have to go back to Mediaite. According to Axios, Trump isn't just blowing off steam on Truth Social. He really wants to do away with the 60-vote requirement to end debate in Congress's upper chamber. Quote, he will make their lives a living hell, one Trump advisor told Axios while describing Trump's strategy for getting GOP lawmakers on board. Quote, he will call them at 3 o'clock in the morning. He will blow them up in their districts. He will call them un-American. He will call them old creatures of a dying institution. Believe you me, he's going to make their lives just hell. Quote, he's really mad about this, added a second advisor. Trump wrote the following on Truth Social Tuesday, the latest in a barrage of posts aimed at persuading Republicans. Terminate the filibuster now, end the ridiculous shutdown immediately, and then most importantly, pass every wonderful Republican policy that we've ever dreamed of for years but never gotten. We will be the party that cannot be beaten, the smart party. Again, does that mean he will pass things that are so popular no voter will ever want to vote for Democrats? Or is he saying, hey, get rid of the filibuster so we can pass legislation which will effectively make it impossible for Democrats to retake power because we're going to Orbanize or Erdoganize the shit out of this country. We'll do what Erdogan did to Turkey and what Orban did to Hungary and effectively lock the Democratic Party out of power. My assumption is he means the latter, not the former, because, of course, Trump is wildly authoritarian. Despite Trump's campaign to do away with the filibuster, Senate Majority Leader John Thune has remained unmoved. Quote, the votes aren't there. The Wall Street Journal was more direct in an editorial on the matter, submitting that, quote, Republicans would be dumb, end quote, to heed Trump's call. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But I also want to point out that while people like John Kennedy and John Thune and John Barrasso, all the Johns, are are holding the line against Trump, at least as of now, which is causing Trump to get more pissed and plan on a ruthless campaign to make their lives hell. Then you have this cowboy hat wearing son of a bitch. His name is Mark Wayne Jim Bob Mullen, and he is a Republican senator. I don't know if his middle name is Jim Bob, but literally his name is Mark Wayne Mullen, and he's wearing a ridiculous cowboy hat. Somebody called him on Twitter. It amused me. Turd Ferguson, which is a character that the late great Norm Macdonald played on the Celebrity Jeopardy panels of Saturday Night Live, where Norm Macdonald was playing. He was playing a guy from Smokey and the Bandit. I'm blanking at Burt Reynolds. He was playing Burt Reynolds on a Saturday Night Live skit with Will Ferrell, the Celebrity Jeopardy thing. But as Burt Reynolds, he showed up with a cowboy hat on. He goes, "I changed my name to Turd Ferguson. Call me Turd Ferguson." Yeah. What do you want? And so anyway, the cowboy hat, somebody drew that connection. So funny. Here is what Senator Mark Wayne Jim Bob Mullen, a.k.a. Senator Turd Ferguson, had to say about the filibuster, because he's taking a different approach to that than John Thune or John Kennedy.
Argument that the president is trying to make here is like, if we're going to be in a shutdown and be dysfunctional, if the Democrats are going to continue to be disruptive and put politics over the people, then we might need to start looking at what the filibuster rules are. Maybe there's some opportunities for us to look at that limiting the filibuster. In the case, like just throwing some stuff out.
But you're against that.
If we were to look at it in a sense to say, if we were to look at it and say that, hey, okay, after the government is shut down for 10 days, maybe we could have limited ability to open the government back up and bypass the filibuster. But
so Senator Mark Wayne Jim Bob Mullen there, a.k.a. Turd Ferguson, seems interested. He seems open to perhaps modifying the filibuster. So this is the sort of vulnerability that Trump is looking for. Now let's get to the Wall Street Journal. This is what they say. Bust the filibuster at the GOP's peril. Break the Senate's 60-vote rule, and a vital check on the left is gone. You knew it would happen. Frustrated by Congress, Donald Trump is demanding that Republican senators break the 60-vote filibuster rule to pass legislation. As so often in this presidency, Trump is going for short-term tactical gain while ignoring long-term damage. And then they quote him, "Republicans would be dumb and hurt the country by breaking the filibuster. Republicans could end the government shutdown on a partisan vote, but then what? The GOP will have taken the fraught step of breaking the filibuster for appropriations. Democrats will pound the table in faux outrage, but they'll privately be cheering at what they'll be able to pass the next time they control Washington, perhaps as soon as 2029 when Trump is out of office. Some GOP senators think they can break the filibuster for legislation this once and restore it for everything else. It's what Harry Reid, the Democratic leader at the time, thought when he broke the filibuster for appellate court judicial nominees in 2013. Soon it was gone for Supreme Court nominees as well because of Mitch McConnell. Break the filibuster for the shutdown, and it will soon be gone for all legislation too. The Senate that will then operate like the House, where a simple majority rules. Trump says Republicans should do it because Democrats will do it first if the GOP doesn't. Maybe, but they didn't under Joe Biden, try as some did. Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema held the line. They're no longer senators, but others may step up in the future. Democrats on the left would love for Republicans to do their dirty filibuster work for them and then go to town on the precedent. Recall what probably would have passed in the Biden years without the filibuster check. Bernie Sanders' $17 an hour minimum wage. All of the Biden Build Back Better plan with its huge tax increases and cradle-to-grave entitlement programs. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse's bill to restructure the Supreme Court, and can I just say, my heart, just it's a little pitter-patter of what might have been, because definitely Supreme Court reform needs to be on the table. Nancy Pelosi's bill to nationalize election law in all 50 states on the California model. Statehood for Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia with 4 new Democratic senators. Be still my heart. The PRO Act that would repeal much of the Taft-Hartley ununionization and ban right-to-work laws for voluntary union membership that exist in 26 states. A national law codifying Roe v. Wade abortion standards. But couldn't Republicans reverse all of this when they return to power? Don't be too sure. Look at the trouble Republicans are having even getting supercharged pandemic-era Obamacare subsidies to expire. Good luck waiting for the GOP to reform Social Security or Medicare before there's a fiscal crisis. The wiser strategy is retaining the filibuster to block entitlement expansions. Obamacare passed in 2010 because Democrats had 60 Senate votes after a dubious recount gave Al Franken a victory in Minnesota. The filibuster rule is often frustrating, but its virtue is that it serves as a check on passing extreme laws with narrow majorities. It gives the minority party a voice when it controls neither the House of Congress or the White House. It forces compromise. It also reduces the chances of a ping-pong effect of passage, repeal, and passage again that leads to economic and legal uncertainty. Most Republicans understand this, but some senators, hoping to curry favor, may start to echo Trump's short-term opportunism. The Democratic left is quietly cheering them on. I don't know if we're quietly cheering them on, but it could absolutely backfire for the Republicans on this. And so, again, it's just really fascinating to see, again, the campaign that Trump is apparently, I'm not just talking shit. I'm not just like even venting about this. I mean this, and we're going to really push hard. So let's take a look. This is trending. Trump urges Senate Republicans to end filibuster. This is trending on X. J.D. Vance regurgitating this. Gunther Eagleman, one of Trump's MAGA sycophants on Twitter, terminate the filibuster. Got community noted. Kamala Harris has confirmed she wants to abolish the filibuster. This is dangerous for every American. Again, hypocrisy is the lifeblood of the MAGA movement. They are objectively far more hypocritical than any Democrat. It's just objectively the case. They don't care because it's all about power. The White House, terminate the filibuster, they say. Rapid Response 47, another official page associated with Donald Trump, terminate the filibuster. Cat turd, these idiots don't know how to win. Eric Doherty, again, just one MAGA account after another. Beard Vet, wake up. Brianna Morello, the filibuster, nuke it. Tyler Bauer, Trump is right in his post today. So seeing a lot of support on Twitter. Miranda Devine, I think she's a New York Post and Fox News contributor, total loser. She's like, yeah, Democrats will end the filibuster the first chance they get. Juanita Broderick, oh man, damn, a lot of MAGA support. A lot of MAGA support. Democrats are 100% going to nuke the filibuster the next time they're in power. Cernovich, voters don't know how the inner workings of the Senate. They see Republicans have total control over government and there's a shutdown. Quote, but they need 60 votes is too inside baseball. Plus, Schumer's going to end the filibuster and pack the court, so Cernovich supports it too. Damn, a lot of people. A lot of people. Again, Mark Wayne, Jim Bob Mullen there, Turd Ferguson with his ridiculous cowboy hat. He's like, I agree, Trump is frustrated. We need to weigh our options. So, yeah, there's a real appetite here for MAGA. Now, will they bend the knee here? Who knows? What I know, though, is that, again, this increasingly hostile division within MAGA is really good for the country because a disunified MAGA is objectively better for the country. And hopefully it will provide the opportunity for Democrats to retake power in 2026. And today is the off-year election day, November 4th. And fingers crossed that Democrats sweep all the way across from New Jersey and Virginia's gubernatorial races to Proposition 50 in California. Let's hope it happens. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.